Welcome to the Cup of Joe Show, where we explore the journey of recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. One story, one conversation, and one step at a time. I'm your host, Joe, creating a safe space for honest discussions about the challenges and triumphs of addiction and alcoholism. In each episode, we'll hear inspiring stories and uncover tools that make healing possible. Sobriety is not a one-size-fits-all journey, and you don't have to face it alone. Recovery is possible, and it's worth it. Thank you for joining the Cup of Joe Show. Now let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cup of Joe Show. I'm your host, of course, Joe, and today I'm excited to have my guest, Mia C. Mia found freedom in recovery May 31st, 2024. She was raised by her grandfather, and she also has 3 half-siblings. Mia's story is one of resilience, family ties, and new beginnings. At home, she's surrounded by the love of her pets, Lila the dog and Stella the cat, who keep life lively and full of affection. When she's not deepening her recovery, Mia can be found on the mat in hot yoga or Pilates, practices that help her stay grounded and connected in mind, body, and spirit. Her journey is still unfolding, but it's already a powerful testament to the strength of choosing a new way of life. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. Hi, Mia. How are you doing?
Hey, Joe. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Not too shabby today. Thank you so much for your willingness to share your story.
Yeah, I'm happy to have been asked. It's an honor.
So tell me, what was it like growing up, Mia?
Well, I, from age of 9, pretty much was raised by my grandpa. Before that, I did bounce around a little bit. I lived with my aunt and uncle in North Carolina for a few years and my cousins. And then, moved down to Florida with my grandfather and my mom. And, my parents weren't really, my mom was pretty present in my life, but not super involved in raising me or anything. She battles her own fights. But yeah, for most part, my grandpa raised me, and it was the 3 of us in a big house, and it was pretty quiet most of the time. Basically grew up, I have 3 half siblings, but basically grew up as an only child because we didn't live in the same household. So definitely a lot of, having to find things to entertain myself and, keep myself, busy. Wasn't too much of a outdoorsy person. I very much liked, playing with Barbies, and I loved music. The house I lived in, we had a intercom system that we would, be able to talk to each other in different rooms, but it had a CD player connected to it, and I would put my CDs in there and just dance around my room. But yeah, so grew up in Florida, Orlando, lived there for most of my life. And yeah, bounced around schools a little bit. Finally got settled with, in high school. And, had a lot of different friend groups that I would hang out with, depending on what it is I was looking to do. So overall, it was pretty normal. Yeah.
I was funny when you said I had different friend groups depending on what I wanted to do. I was like, oh yeah. I think we have that in common, like that chameleon, we can fit in anywhere, I always think of that as that was the beginning of my Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, those early days. So, what was your attitude towards alcohol and drugs back then? Did you Was any of it in your family, or were you around it at all?
Yeah. So, when I say my mom was battling her own fights, both my parents are the struggle with drug addiction. My dad, both alcohol and drugs, and my mom mainly drugs. And uh, I was pretty like, I don't know. I think I think my thought process with it is I didn't really understand what it meant to be, an addict or an alcoholic. I thought that I was immune to whatever it is my mom was going through, so I didn't really shun it. Um, and between the time when I started, dabbling in things and started drinking, was still coming to like an understanding of what exactly was going on with my mom. Um, but I mean, I started drinking in high school, and I never really, I don't really remember the first time I drank. I remember as a little kid sitting on my uncle's lap when I was living with him, and him letting me try a sip of his Bud Light. Um, but around the time when I started really like drinking on my own and with my friends and stuff, I don't remember that, but I do remember like my first blackout, and it was pretty quick into when I started drinking. And it was, a bottle of Hennessy at my junior prom. By the end of the night, I was chugging it like it was water. I couldn't even taste it. And I got carried out that night. I don't remember barely anything.
Yeah, and it's I'm trying to remember. I was going to ask you, like, when was the first time you felt the effects, and I'm like, oh, that'll do it. A bottle of Hennessy will do it.
Oh yeah.
Was that normal? Was that like normal for you drinking like that, like, or was that like a one-off type of thing?
No, that was pretty normal. I remember for the longest time, I mean, the reason I got into it was to escape. I mean, I just did not. Gosh, I like probably like early teens. I did not feel comfortable in my own skin. Very out of place. I had a bunch of different friend groups, but not a single one I felt like I fit in. I would always, feel like an outcast. And that even in my own family, I mean, I felt like I would say so frequently, like a black sheep. I just never quite felt like I fit in. I was very uncomfortable in my own skin, and uh, you know, I mean, I wanted to escape that. I I didn't know how to interact with people, or at least I felt that way. You know, I felt like I didn't know how, and the only way that I felt differently was when I was drinking. All of that stuff just like dissipated, and I couldn't care. I mean, it was like completely new experience, and I loved it, because I no longer felt that you know that uncomfortableness, the constant fear and worry, and just you know scared of life. And I mean, we used to call it social anxiety or whatever, and start taking some drinks to like take the edge off. And I would always say like uh 2 drinks like makes me like normal and able to interact with people, because before that, I mean, I was just like very not not wanting to enter like not comfortable to interact with anyone.
Yeah. When you said social anxiety, I'm like, I had that too. And drinking and drugs did the same for me. It kind of took that away. But now I look back and I'm like, but I had that same feeling when I was alone. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just I only recognized it when I was around people, but then like I look back now and I'm like, dang, I felt like that all along. Like I never um anyway, that you just that was a good reminder of what it's like. Did anyone notice your drinking or anyone say anything back then?
Um, Early on, no. I was really good at hiding it, especially from my family, because, going back to that leading a double life or a triple or quadruple life, I mean, I was a different person with my family than I was with my friends, than I was at school, than I was, it wherever. Was really good at hiding it. And I don't remember a lot of times early on where people would be like, hey, Mia, like, this isn't, normal or anything. But, towards the end, I mean, it definitely, like, it definitely brought attention with my friends mostly. I had moved from Orlando to Georgia after I graduated college for a job. I didn't know anyone up here, and I immediately got introduced to a friend that I worked with, her friend group, and the like drinking, we started. Main reason why I was excited to get plugged in is because I knew they were drinkers and they were partiers, and as it progressed, and as it got worse, people got tired. I mean, the way that, let's just say it stopped like working, and it the way I would be when I was drunk is, I mean, I would immediately, like, I would like run away from my friends, and just be super, I don't know, down, and start fights. And so, yeah, it became a problem, and people, started, you know, saying something. And I remember, like, I think when the idea of AA came was, I had, at the time, I thought that maybe it was just my emotions, and I didn't know how to deal with them. And so let me try therapy. And we kind of talked about drinking, and it was the first time I got honest about the way I drank. Because when I go to like a doctor's office, of course I would lie and be like, yeah, I have like maybe 5 a week. But for some reason, I got honest at this therapy session, and she had told me, she was like, hey, listen, like, you should check out AA. And that was kind of like the first seed that got planted for me.
That's funny. I had gone to a therapist who actually planted the seed too. I wasn't ready to go, but it was like, you're the way you drink, there's a place that can help you. I later learned that therapist was actually in recovery. I had no idea, like, for years. And then I ran into her some years later, and shout out to her. She was a big help in my life. So maybe just to rewind a little bit, did you like when you got to college, did your drinking, I mean, did it escalate, and did you notice that this is becoming a problem, or did you not even think about it?
Oh yeah, college, it definitely escalated. I mean, I immersed myself in every area where I knew that I could drink the way I want to. And at the college I went to, it was pretty normalized, right? That, that party, uh, blackout, get, drunk every day. I mean, we had like a syllabus week, and you would go out 7 days a week, and even sometimes like in the morning. And so I just like it escalated pretty quickly, especially my junior and senior year. The only difference was, and I didn't know it at the time. I thought it was completely normal because everyone was doing it. The only difference was, what I didn't realize is that the biggest lie I told myself, and I didn't know until I came into the rooms, is that I could control it. And I thought that everyone had the same, like alcohol had the same effect on everyone that it did on me. And so, I used that. I had that all throughout college, and I didn't see it. I didn't see a lot of what was going on until I came into the rooms, really.
So, what was, for lack of a better word, like the turning point, or what kind of made you seek help? If you don't mind sharing that.
Yeah, of course. Huh. You know, I didn't face any, legal, like the one legal consequence I faced, or two. I got an MIP when I was 20. I didn't face any like legal consequences. I didn't lose like my job. It was no outside factors that pushed me into the rooms. And I don't think for most of us it is an outside factor that pushes us, to finally make that decision of like, hey, like I don't know what's, for me it was, I don't know what's going on here, but I know I can't do this anymore. I had reached such a point of not even like realizing who I was anymore. And it says like in the book, in the big book, right? Like incomprehensible demoralization. I mean, that spoke wonders to me when I started getting into the steps and everything. Just this place of incomprehensible demoralization. The things I was doing, and the things I was doing that I would never, I said I would never do, I couldn't see myself doing, I couldn't even recognize myself. I could not bear to be with myself. I just, at a certain point, right? Like my drinking and the reasons for doing it, they were no longer working anymore. It put me in a deeper and deeper place of, it got very dark. I'll say it got very dark. I was having pretty intense like suicidal thoughts, just feeling super empty inside. And I had tried everything. I so many things that I've learned since coming into the rooms, that I'm so grateful to have grasped like an understanding of these things. Is, I tried everything to like fill this emptiness I had inside. And like exercising, going to therapy, taking medication, taking medications. I thought I was depressed and I had anxiety, and that's what was wrong. I thought that maybe it was just when I drink tequila. And I tried that for a bit, maybe only try like drink some seltzers, and by the I'd do that. By the end of the night I was like downing shots of tequila, and I don't even know how I got it. Like I don't even know how it got to that point. And just the constant waking up, like not even wanting to know what happened the night before and remembering it, and just being like, how did this happen? Like, again. And I was just like, it was just like a just very destructive path. Almost every person that came, like, in my life, I would somehow just I was burning every bridge. I was getting in fights with people. But I think what pushed me is that hopelessness, that I felt on the inside, and that I just couldn't bear to look at myself anymore. I mean, I was lost. Um, yeah.
It's you said it like it doesn't. I think I've had consequences, legal, family, all that stuff. None of it got me sober, and I think I had an old friend who used to say, you know, um, everybody, a bottom isn't a place; it's a feeling. For some of us, it takes living under a bridge, and for others, it's a dent in a Mercedes. He said, most of us, it's somewhere in between. So I always think about that. A bottom it's a feeling, and you're right. I, I don't know what it takes for each individual, and it's nice learning what it took for you. Um, so did you initially go to rehab? Did you just go to an AA meeting, or what was your journey like?
Yeah. So, I didn't really know how AA worked, or I didn't know what to expect. I had, I remember, at the time, this guy I was dating right before, things kind of went chaotic, and um, his dad is in AA, and he showed me this app called, Meeting Guide, and it was kind of like just another seed that was planted. But I think so. I didn't do sober living. I didn't do rehab. I didn't do anything. I literally just looked up a meeting on Google, AA meetings near me, and I found this Monday night women's meeting right down the road from me, and I had driven over there, and um, I remember being terrified to go in. I didn't know what to expect. And I went in, and it was, I mean, what I can remember from that first meeting is like hearing people like share their experience, and being able to relate to a lot of what was being said. Something clicked. Something clicked. Uh, like, yeah.
What do they call that? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Is that what?
I think so. Yeah,
um, so
ready.
no, but I think that's such an important message, Mia, that it takes so much courage to go into your first meeting or to go seek help, however you do it, and you did it. Like that's, I don't know. I just think that's pretty ba, because it's scary. You know, um, what were some of the challenges you had like early on? Like um, what weren't you prepared for? Anything?
um, what wasn't I prepared for? Um, you know, gosh, I think like I said, I had no idea what to expect. I had this like assumption of what AA was like based on TV shows and stuff. And you know, when I walked into that room and just, I mean, people looked so happy, like just so warm and welcoming too. I I thought I had no idea. I had no idea what was going to be in store and what it like getting a sponsor and you know, this book, right? This book that has these steps in it, and it having to do with. I remember reading the steps off of the wall and seeing God and being like, "Oh crap!" I had tried church, and you know, like clearly that didn't work. So I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't know, but I do remember being in such a place where I was just like, I mean, I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to do anything at this point. I don't know what's going on, but I just like I said, I mean, I was just in such a place where I I needed something. I needed something different. And you know, I challenges in the beginning, I was scared all the time. I mean, I just scared, and it felt like my brain was on overdrive like almost all the time. And I had been for a couple weeks, I think I was still getting a little like I think reaching out to people was a little difficult. I'm not an open book, and I don't think many people are coming in. And it was hard for me to explain like where I was at, other than I was just really like sad. um, but I, yeah, I don't know. I kind of just, you know, got plugged in with some women, and I was pretty fortunate. They were very open to like helping and reaching out, and you know, the things that we do with newcomers when they first come in, offer to take me to a meeting or go to a meeting with me, because I was scared to go to meetings by myself at first, and it was always nice to have someone there. And you know, just kind of take it like quite literally. I mean, it was day by day, like one day at a time. Just doing the best I can to like talk to people and do like what was suggested to me in the moment. Um, so yeah.
Well, I think it sounds like, that's you were overcoming fear every day. You know what I mean? And that's such a the way you put it. Like, and it's hard for people to understand, and like especially in 12-step recovery, like in the meetings, like, and I know for me, I experienced the same thing like you. It was like people loved me when I didn't love myself. And they just and I don't know, I didn't know why. Like I was always used to, if I did something for you, I expected something in return. You know what I mean? So I was like, why are these people helping me, and what do they want from me? And as if I had anything to offer at that point in my life. I don't think I did. But it's like that was my thought process. Like, what do you want from me? Do you know who I think I am?
Oh yeah,
Um,
I
but
get that.
what what were some of the lessons you learned early on? You know.
hmm. Um, some of the lessons. Um, It's a good question. That I don't know as much as I think I do. I learned I mean the base, like what it means to be an alcoholic. You know, I had started going through the steps with my sponsor. My yeah, my I had one sponsor, and we got through some of the steps, and we got to inventory, and I had just made the decision that I needed a new experience, so I started working with another sponsor, and we started going through the book. And I think the biggest lesson I learned is that you know, when I was reading out of the book and step one, and you know, Bill's story, things started piecing together. I learned that I do not have a normal reaction to alcohol when I drink. And it made so much sense. I look back on experiences and this delusion that I had of that I can drink normally, or that I had control at certain times, but it was never really, I never really had control. There was no telling how much I was going to drink once I put a drink in my body. And it just like I could think back to so many scenarios as I was going through the book, and like being able to relate to a lot of what was being said. And I remember I had made this resolution. I had gotten in a pretty bad altercation with a coworker of mine, and I felt so depleted after. And it started kind of becoming clear to me that my drinking was like something. The way that I react when I drink is not normal. Was, I think, there. And I had made a resolution. I swear I meant it. I swear I meant it when I said I wasn't going to drink again. Because clearly something happens when I drink that I there's no telling what's going to happen that night or day or whatever. And I swore up and down. And you know, it didn't take much. I mean, I had planned to go on this trip to Tennessee with a group, and you know, I at the time I thought that, oh, you know, this guy that I was with, he had convinced me, right, that let's just do one or two drinks, we won't drink again. But when I tell you, like, that's a flippin' lie that I was telling myself, because I was thinking from the time when I swore I was not gonna drink again, not long after had I started just thinking constantly of like, you know, miserable miserable, because I wanted to drink so bad. And it was just, you know, when he had quote unquote talked me into drinking again, I was so happy. Like, I was like, okay, you know, because I was already thinking about it. And it just made so much sense when in the book it was talking about, right, like this three part, right, of what it is to be an alcoholic, which is mental obsession, right, allergy, physical allergy of what happens like when we put a drink, and the third part that I was not aware of, well, you know, became aware of shortly after, is this spiritual malady that I have. and this hole that I was feeling was what that's what it was. I had no clue.
You know, when you mentioned the whole, I learned this because I think I came into with like this void, like that you can't fill, and the three major religions in the world, um, all of them talk about the empty cup. Like people come to, in spiritual practice or spiritual matters or a higher power, um, that the creator or God or whatever your determination is of a higher power likes to work with empty vessels. And all three religions talk about their stories, which I always thought was kind of like, that makes sense. you know, that void, we're trying to fill that void. And I'm glad you described the mental obsession, the physical allergy, and the spiritual malady is it's a three-legged stool. It was helpful to me too. It was like, okay, that makes somewhat some sense. Uh, so what kept you kind of in it on the real tough days? What kept you coming back or staying in recovery when things weren't going your way?
Well, I think I was pretty clear on. I mean, I what kept me coming back is I had a pretty good understanding that I I didn't have another option. Um, I really truly believe that I did everything under the sun, and I what kept me was all the people when I would go to meetings and how happy they looked and how there was life in their eyes, and I really wanted that. Um, and I mean, going based off of, when I would talk to people, um, it kind of this like blind hope that things would get better. It was often, said to me like, Mia, just keep keep going. I promise it's not going to feel this way forever. And I mean, gosh, I'm so grateful to be able to sit here today and not just have that off of blind hope, but to have experienced it. Um, you know, uh, it felt like light years early on. Um, and really through the tough times, I mean, just reaching out to people, it had been instilled, it had been suggested and instilled in me pretty early on, right? My, call 3 women a day, tell them what's going on, go to a meeting. Um, the speaker meetings really, gosh, I love a good speaker meeting. And hearing other people share where they were at and how it was so similar, like the feelings, right, of where I was at, and hearing those similarities in the rooms, uh, and then how they overcame it, and hoping that the same would happen for me. And all that was explained is just got to do the work, right? Just do what's laid out, go through the book with your sponsor, right? So I did those things, and the things that were suggested, and held on to that until I started finally being able to experience it for myself.
So, so now that you've experienced it for yourself, right? Like, what are some of the best things that have happened to you in sobriety?
Mm. you know, um, for me, I would say it's mostly internal. Um, I it's almost like what I was looking for all my life through whether it be drinking or men or a job, money, whatever I thought was gonna. Um, I found this like it's gonna sound so cliche, but um, this sense of peace and like I finally am a part of this world. Like I have something to offer, something to contribute, a purpose. Um, I mean, it feels like I've only just started living like a year ago. Um, and you know, um, it's fun. You had asked me like early, like what's something that I have learned. And one of those things is um, being like open to like being wrong about things and being open to like gaining new perspectives and like seeing life in a different light and learning to like appreciate things that I haven't appreciated before. The little things and you know, the purpose really comes from working like with sponsees, um, and you know, getting to this past or you know these experiences that I've been through that I thought just made me, you know, I could not even look at myself. I've actually helped people, and it takes away that guilt or that shame and being able to, you know, understand that like this place that I put myself is just this warped perception that like, you know, I don't know, like it's just to be able to see um things that I wish like I used to want to like hide from the world forever, are the things that have been able to help me relate to others or help others to relate, you know, as a alcoholic and actually bond, like, you know, grow closer with people in the program. um and just, you know, being able to show up differently with like, I mean, this this program not only, I mean, it is like we talk about practicing the principles and all of our affairs, and I have seen my relationship with my family. Well, I didn't see it, but it got pointed out to me. My grandpa, I remember him saying like he came up here recently for my birthday and he was like, Mia, just keep doing whatever it is you're doing, because I mean, he was like, are you happy? And I was like, he looks at me, I was like, you should be. You're doing, you know, whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it. I'm so proud of you. And just, you know, being able to be present, uh you know, for the longest I didn't realize how absent I was from my family, and when I say that I mean mentally. um and it our relationships have looked so different, and I've gotten opportunities to be able to um you know, go back uh and mend relationships that I thought would be broken forever, and show up differently there. And genuinely, I mean, I say this, and I mean, it's not me. Um, I I I move my feet, but if it wasn't for, I mean, uh, this relationship that I've built with, you know, with God, in my life, then um, my life would just look like how it looked before. And I've had opportunities to experience that actually in sobriety. The steps, the first, going through the steps, I really thought that things would be, figured out, right? Going through steps, and in my first year, I'm going to know everything. Everything's going to be, and that's just not reality. But I will tell you, like, with the recent experiences I've had, I mean, I've had some challenges, I very much like to, I think the biggest thing is that unhappiness, and the unhappiness I was experiencing was definitely coming from a place of thinking that life should look the way I want it to look. And if it didn't, then just doing everything under the sun to try and make it look that way. And coming to an understanding that that's just not how it works. I've had some similar experiences even in sobriety, but I think knowing that I have, like, I've had experiences in sobriety that have showed me that this works, and holding on to that. And it's definitely not a place, it's definitely a place I'd rather be than where I was before I came in. I think I went off on a tangent, so I apologize.
Don't apologize. No, it's a good tangent, and it's funny when you started talking about what you got. I literally, before you said it, I said peace because I could see it in your face. It's like that's the type of stuff you can't hide. You know what I'm saying? And I think I can, when I'm sorry, audience, you're not going to be able to see Mia, only me, but you can see it in your face that you have this sense of peace. And I'm glad you mentioned your grandfather because I was wondering how that relationship is. And can I ask about your parents? Is that something
Yeah.
that you're comfortable talking about? Like, do you have a better understanding of their situation, and has that helped you, I guess?
Yeah. There's still a good bit to navigate there. But I definitely, it has brought a new sense of understanding, and what, I guess it's hard to look at it the same, right? When it's someone you love, someone close to you. But at the end of the day, um, you know, they struggle with the exact same thing I struggle with. And actually, when I came to that understanding with myself, I mean, I used to put myself on this pedestal of, like, I could never do what my mom has done. And in all honesty, I mean, I probably have, and I was just not aware of it. Um, and I all I can do, right, is just be there, in a way to know that, like, our relationship's a little strayed, but I'm here and I'm ready, if ever a day comes. But it's definitely brought a new level of understanding, and a set, like, this a weird sense of, like, I don't want to say peace, but maybe like assurance. That I don't know. I like answers, I guess. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And thank you for sharing that. The I guess we touched on it a little bit, but what is your relationship like spirituality and like, in recovery? How did that come about for you?
Um through experience. Yeah, I don't think I believed a lot of what was being told to me while I was working the steps and working, I was like, all right, whatever you say, like I'll do it. If that's what you say. I wasn't really religious or anything like coming in. Like I wouldn't have I didn't consider myself atheist, but I mean there was like no I wasn't religious. And I had this like I had this uh this old these perceptions of what God, right, was based off of, how it had been explained to me in churches or like other, so I came in with this like assumption, with these assumptions and um prejudices, honestly. I didn't really um I don't know. I went to churches and I didn't get anything from it, right? Like it just I didn't have any like type of connection, and it just I, I don't know. And I had one of the biggest things is I tied religion. There's this part in the book that like stands out to me a lot because I just really relate to it, where we like judge the the forests by like some of the I I'm totally butchering it, but like some of the like ugly trees or however it's said. And so I had allowed a couple bad experiences to completely like shut my brain off from the idea of God or a higher power or whatever. um but you know it and I remember it being said to me a few times, like, you just got to do the work. You just got to do the work. So I was like, all right. um, so I did the work, and I started seeing like magic happening quite literally. I mean, it's almost like I don't know. I didn't see it like in the moment, but when I would like look back and I'd be like, whoa, like that's I had a very like I think one of the most recent experiences I have where it's a lot of like doing footwork and then seeing it for me. Doing footwork, doing like for example, I made an amends recently to my grandpa, a financial amends, and I was terrified going into this. And you know, it, I sat down with him and no idea how this was gonna go. And um, he had like asked me, like, why are you doing this now? Like this has just come such a shock to me. And I'm sitting there trying to like explain to him, but during it, he's like, you know, my you know what my issue is with you is you and he was saying this in the most endearing way possible. Like, I'm not he was, you know, he was like, you always have to like pause. You can never just say. It's almost like you have to pause and articulate like something like on the long lines of like articulate your words. It's almost like you're trying to manipulate what's coming out. And I was just like blown away. I didn't take it very well at first, but then afterwards I had time to sit and pray on it a little bit, and I was like, you know, God, I don't know what to take from this right now. And I sat for a second, and afterwards I realized, this is something that had been explained to me before, and I heard it. It's almost like for me, this is just my experience. This is where I see God working in my life. Is It's almost like God knew that I was going to hear it differently out of my grandpa's mouth, because I hold him to such, my grandpa means a lot to me. Me and my grandpa are really close. It's almost like it was exactly how the amends was supposed to go. And mind you, I had no idea this was how it was going to go. I had no idea that I was going to get to learn something new, something about myself, a new perspective on something I was kind of already aware of, which is that, I'm a big overthinker. Just, kind of, and, I'm sitting there and learning something new about myself and being able to have that outlook on it, right? And being open to, learning those things. And, I step away for a second after making these financial amends with my grandpa, and I come back in, and, you know, if I just go up, and me and my grandpa just we get the biggest hug. And I mean, if there's ever, like, I felt it felt like these walls had been broken down. um you know it felt like free for the both of us, closure for the, like, my grandpa and me. We just sat there, and it was amazing. Yeah.
No, thank you for sharing that story, because um, we never know what's going to happen when we do this stuff, and obviously, what we're going to learn, or what the purpose of it is, and what better place to get a message than from the man you hold in such esteem, who's done so much for you. I can even tell by the way you say his name, why you say grandpa. Like, it's like you don't even have to say uh, how much you love the man. You could just hear it in the way you speak his name. So I think that's amazing. So, what would you say to somebody that maybe is feeling hopeless right now?
um that I absolutely get it. um I I've been there. I felt hopeless, and I felt that there was no way out, and just no escape of myself, really. But if you've you know if you've tried everything, you know whether you are an alcoholic, I don't know if this is just for recovery people, but I mean, everyone can be in a hopeless state. But I mean, for me, if I was talking to like a um to a hopeless person who might think they might have this, and you've tried everything, um I will say, like, I didn't I mean, I had nothing to lose with where I was at, and I might as well given it a shot, because, like, what else did I have? And it may work, and it may not, but at least you try it, and you can come to that conclusion on your own. And I mean, I can guarantee if you are alcoholic that it will work. And if you are an alcoholic, if you tried everything else under the sun like I did, that it will work, and that hopeless state that you're feeling will over time feel less and less. You start to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and it gets brighter and brighter. And on some days it might dim a little bit, but you talk about it and it gets brighter and brighter. And you know, um, you reach a place where days don't feel like light years anymore. And gosh, this program has, I mean, AA has just offered me, it's given me so much, and I like to do stuff like this because, I know that because it's been such a gift to me, it's only fair that I give it back, you know, and it gets better.
I like that. Days don't feel like light years anymore. It's true. Is there anything you wanted to talk about that we haven't?
Not that I can think of. No,
I always want to make sure, Mia. I always want to make sure. But I really appreciate you sharing your story. But I can't let you go without doing our rapid fire questions.
all right.
Very excited for the rapid fire questions.
Don't know what to expect. Like a little,
It's good. That's the way. Look, it's the best way to do it. You not know what to expect. That's the way to do it. All right. Are you ready?
ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. What is your favorite recovery slogan?
My favorite recovery slogan. I don't know. Like the good old keep coming back because it works if you work it.
What is your least favorite recovery slogan?
Oh. I don't know. That's a good question. All of a sudden, I've forgotten all the recovery slogans. All of a sudden, I can't. One doesn't come to me.
All right, I'm going to answer for me. I'm going to say it's think, think, think. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
No, think.
I can't think the first time, let alone the next two.
Oh,
That's how I am. So, anyway,
I think too much. I think myself into a spiral.
What do you think is your sobriety superpower?
My sobriety superpower. I gotta go with God. Keep it,
Yeah. If you could say one thing to your former self, what would it be?
Whatever you're thinking, don't do. No, I'm kidding. What's one thing I could say to my former self? Just hold on.
What song do you play to lift your spirits when you need a boost?
Well, lately it's been can it just be any song? Yeah. Okay. Lately it's been What's the one I've been? This new song. Well, okay, so there's a couple. I really like this one song by Jelly Roll and Brandon Lake. It's called Hard Fought Hallelujah. That one's a good one. And I like anything like I like EDM, so I'll listen to some EDM just to get my head. I like to drive. I've been doing this recently. I just like it really like the little things. Like I drive with my windows down and just my music. Yeah, EDM probably.
I have to give a shout out to my bonus son, Ethan, who is a big EDM fan himself. So, yeah, so I get it. So that's awesome. It was like, I don't hear that often. So,
yeah.
If you could grant yourself one wish to help with your recovery, what would it be?
Grant myself one wish to help with my recovery. Stop thinking so much.
I get it. I do get it. What step do you love the most?
11. Yeah. 11 for sure.
What step do you love the least?
Okay, it's not that I love it the least, but it's just, I mean, it's step 3. I'm sure that'll change over time.
I think it's great. No, I get it. I get it. What is one of your favorite movies?
Grease. Grease is my favorite. That was very
Nice. And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You did it.
Yeah. Well, you sure did. And you did it in this podcast. And I really appreciate you sharing your experience, strength, and hope, Mia. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
And for the rest of you folks out there, please subscribe to our friends at thedailyponderables.com, your recovery source for inspiration and encouragement every day. A new episode of The Cup of Joe Show is released every Thursday at noon. Visit thecupofjoeshow.net, or you can listen to the show on your favorite podcast apps, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and others. Just search for The Cup of Joe Show. Don't forget the "the." Please like, follow, subscribe, and share because someone out there needs to hear this today. Have a good day, everybody.
It's just a laid-back vibe, baby.
We hope you enjoyed today's experience, strength, and hope. We are so grateful you decided to join us. Please share this episode with someone who might need it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, no matter where you are in your recovery journey, you are not alone. Reach up and reach out to someone. Please do not suffer in silence. Until next time, let's take it 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day at a time. Thanks for listening to The Cup of Joe Show.